6:02 for Parks and Recreation for Apache Junction. May I ask for a roll call, please?
Commissioner Frank Schoenbeck,
Here.
Chairman Wayne Standage,
Here.
Vice Chairman Heather Mueller,
Here.
Commissioner Walker Waldy,
Here.
Commissioner Judy Bory,
Here.
Commissioner D. Kine, here. Commissioner Luciano Buzan.
Here.
We have a quorum, 7-0. Nobody absent.
Okay. I'd ask you to join me for a moment and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Give me just a second here. Okay, I need an acceptance for tonight's agenda, please. A motion to accept tonight's agenda?
I move to accept tonight's agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Second? You got them marked, Mary?
A vote?
Okay.
I need a roll call vote.
Would you do a vote, please?
Commissioner Luciano Buzan,
Yes.
Commissioner Frank Schoenbeck,
Yes.
Chairman Wayne Standage,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Heather Mueller,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker Waldy,
Yes.
Commissioner Judy Bory,
Yes.
Commissioner D. Kine.
Okay,
It passes.
thank you. Our next item is acceptance of minutes of December 2nd, 2020. Do I have a motion to accept them?
I make a motion to accept the meetings.
Thank you, Luciano. And a second?
A second.
Thank you. I'm giving Mary a second to catch
I'm
up
okay.
there. You got them? Okay, we need to call a vote for that, please.
D. Kine, Commissioner D. Kine, Commissioner Luciano Buzan,
Yes.
Commissioner Frank Schoenbeck,
Yes.
Chairman Wayne Standage,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Heather Mueller,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker Waldy,
Yes.
and Commissioner Judy Bory.
Yes.
And that also passes, Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 6 we have on here is Parks and Recreation Director's Report. Liz, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chairman Standage. So for the facilities update, no real new news on BLM. They did approve, the federal government has pushed back on down, and they've approved the Notice of Realty Action. So the NORA will be able to post, and that's one of the first steps that has to happen. In the meantime, they're doing a bunch of other cultural, some of their other studies are able to happen simultaneously. So nothing much new. Remember, this is about a 12-month to 18-month process. Yeah. All of their steps will take. I'll just kind of keep you posted as we learn that things are finished. But it's moving along pretty well. Nothing else major new on the dog park except for that we have final construction documents. We have a few little tweaks. We're working on the IGA with Pinal County, and that will be coming to the City Council most likely in February. And we did learn that we will have full funding through our development fees, we believe, to be able to start. And I know I mentioned last time that we think we're going to be able to start to go out for bid at the end of spring, early summer. Okay. So we're really excited about being able to move forward and having the funding that we're going to need. We will still be looking for sponsors and doing some other sponsor opportunities. I shared that last time. I just want to make sure you're aware. And then the last thing on facilities is that we do have we learned today that the Wi-Fi project that we are doing at Flatiron, we are going to be the recipients of a pilot program through Train and a couple of other partners that had reached out to Mike Weaver about streetlight modifications and energy efficiencies. And they're doing 2 park projects. They're doing one with the city of Mesa at Fitch Park, and they want to do one in Apache Junction as well, and so they're going to do Flatiron Park. And basically, they will be changing out the heads of all of our lighting there to, we already have LED lighting, but it's another level of good LED lighting, energy efficiency, but they will also have Wi-Fi connectivity in them, as well as 2 cameras. So we'll be adding security cameras to the park, and all of our lighting will be dimmable. Each pole could be turned on separately through an app that the park rangers have. They can monitor the cameras through their app. And it's basically a pilot program that they are doing in the state, these 2 projects, so that other people will want to do it, and there might be some opportunities later in the future. The city is not paying anything for this. We're really excited about it coming in, and it should be starting probably early February. So just in case they start prior to our next meeting, I wanted to give you a heads up. So if you see somebody up on poles at Flatiron, you'll know why. We'll definitely be getting out some PR about that and explaining to the public a little more. And that's everything I have that's new on facilities.
Okay. Okay, now the next item you have is programs.
Yes.
Any questions first, folks?
No question.
No questions, okay.
Okay. So our programs update. We are continuing with our COVID protocols, and unfortunately, we have seen all of the rest of our major events that we partner with for January, February, and the beginning of March have all for sure canceled. We have a lot of smaller things still happening. Lost Dutchman Days will still have a couple of very small events that are nothing like their regular ones, but everything, Lost Dutchman Days Parade, the Marathon, our Blues and Brews Festival, everybody's kind of done their official notice that we're not able to have that any longer. We do have some smaller private events, and that will be going on. And then Parks and Recreation is can continue with our movies in the park. And then we have a few other small outdoor events that will be happening in January. So we have a kite flying day that families can come out. They'll be assigned their own area of the park. We're going to be in our big multi-purpose field. They'll get to make kites, potentially fly kites if it's windy enough. It's one of those events that it's kind of depends on the weather, but we're hopeful. That area generally at that time of year it generally has some breeze. We have a 5K course that's going to get marked. Families can sign up for a time frame so that they're out on the course kind of on their own, and they can run that course. It's free of charge. That'll be on the same day, and so we kind of have people split up and separated so that we can do something safe but outside and getting families together and participating. I don't know if any of you were able to participate in the reverse light parade on December 5th. So we certainly did not have the amount of participation as far as light entries as we would have loved. I think the ones that came did an awesome job, and it looked really cool. We had about 600 cars come through, though, so we had gobs of participants coming through, and we had a lot of really good positive feedback from it. Certainly not the same, though, as what our normal event would be. But I was really proud of our staff and our PD and Public Works for really working hard to try to put something together. There was some congestion and a little bit of traffic kinds of issues on Idaho and Superstition, but I think overall people were just happy to be able to get out and have something to do and to go look around. We are definitely want to kind of continue to encourage businesses and other people to light up for the holidays in the future, and so hopefully we can kind of keep that going. And that's the end of my update. And really quickly, we do have lots of smaller programs that have already been advertised. If you go on to our website, you can click the link to register, and we have several tumbling and other small arts and crafts and small classes that all have COVID mitigation efforts. If people are feeling comfortable enough to come back, most of those situations do require a mask, or they do have other mitigation efforts. So if you want to kind of see what else we have going on, check it out there. But for sure, follow our Facebook page, because that is definitely where we are promoting a lot of our smaller events and programs. Any questions on programs?
Liz, this is kind of back to the events and under facilities. Is the Antique Tractor Show going to go on this year?
So they are a mid-March event, and they are still debating. They have not done their official cancellation, but they are a large group that if things don't change, they will have to make some very different changes. Our horse and buggy and carriage event that used to happen, they have like races and different activities. They're doing all of their competitions in small waves throughout the day so that they can have very small groups coming and watching. The tractor show, it would be a little harder for them to do that, and so they're waiting. They're going to wait about another month or so and make their decision, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. It's an event I have always liked going to.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And
Any other questions, folks?
um,
Judy,
It's hard to
see
see.
it.
short.
She sees you first.
Have you gotten all your new hires done, or all your part-timers, or
So-
people coming back, or whatever?
So we will open up, that is a great question. We will be opening up all of our lifeguard and recreation, our seasonal positions are going to open up. They should be opened up, if not late tonight, tomorrow. They open up in January every year. Right now, it's our seasonal lifeguards. We are planning a regular summer season until we learn differently. That's the only way that we can move forward and be prepared. So we will be starting our recruitment for all of that. And that won't close or finish until about March is when we usually get all of those folks on board. We did close several parks, park rangers and a park ranger and a maintenance worker, and a senior rec leader for the Multi-Gen Center has closed, and we should be hiring those here pretty soon and looking at those applicants. Okay? We will be opening up our seasonal rec leaders later in March this year. Usually we open them up at the same time as lifeguards, but there's just really not a reason to do it yet, so we're going to hold off on those. So if you don't see those will be coming open later.
Okay, and will you publish that brochure that you usually do, or not?
The Citizen, it depends, I would imagine we're going to. If not, it will be a shorter version that will go in the newspapers like we've been doing. Okay?
Okay.
So that completes my report.
Okay. We'll go down to, okay, there's no old business, so we'll go to new business, number 8. Back to you, Liz.
Perfect. Okay. And you guys should have in your packet, I'm sorry I didn't think about giving this to you in advance. Today, we really just, the Parks and Recreation fee study is going to be happening here over the next few months. You should all have this in your packet today. Today is just an introductory to what we're going to be doing for the fee study and what your part will be in that and what City Council will have going on. I'm going to give you just a little bit of history and what we're going to be looking at. And then, but then also want to just share with you that we will be presenting to council probably the first meeting in February or the second meeting in February, just to let our new city council members especially know kind of the philosophy in the past of our fee study. They'll get a lot of this information I'm giving you today. And then to get kind of a nod of agreement and get their direction for us to be able to move forward and go forward with our fee study presentation and the market research we did, and then to make suggestions for any increases or decreases. And then if they give us that direction, and we believe they will, then we'll be coming back to you guys and actually having discussions about sharing with you what the market study looks like, where we would recommend increases or decreases, hear from all of you of what you would like to see done. And then we'll kind of bring that back to you again for a final approval. You guys will actually approve what you want us to pass on to the city council. And then the city council will vote on whether or not they accept the new fee, if there are any changes to the fee schedule, or any of our fee-related policies. So that's kind of going to be what the process is. So you guys will hear about this at the February meeting and the March meeting at least. It's possible to go on to April, just kind of depends on how quickly we get through everything and what else you guys would like to see us look into. Yes.
I have a question on that. Will the dog park be a part of this? Like,
So
someone wanted to rent the area for a particular program?
So it will fall under probably our open space fees, but that is definitely something that we can be looking at to see if other cities, I think that's a great suggestion. I don't think that we had it in there as a for sure because there isn't going to be a lot of opportunities, but some of those smaller spaces absolutely will be able to. So we will make sure that that's included in what we bring back to you. So really, just as kind of a little bit of historical background, some of you guys were on our commission whenever we voted on the fees back in 2014, 2015. We do a fee study about every 5 years. We kind of took a little longer this time, mainly because of COVID. We didn't really want to start talking about fee increases or fee changes in the middle of not having any programs or anything like that. But we do need, it is time to look at this and to look into what our market city does. It is always a market study. The city council identified what our comparator cities are several years ago, and we use those market cities whenever we're doing most of our research for the city. So they select, it's about 10 or 11 cities that are close to us in size and demographic. The only exception is the city of Mesa is part of that market study because they are right next door to us, and they're obviously somebody that we need to look at having similar fees to. We take the market into consideration, but that's not the only thing. We try to be at about the average of the market, but there are certainly areas that we feel that if our demographic warrants having a little lower fee, or if there was some reason we needed a higher fee to bring in more revenue for some reason, those are the things that we would look at doing differently, and you guys would weigh in on any of those types of items. Our fee philosophy in the past, for all the years I've been here, City Council kind of helped to develop these, as well as our commission over the years. But the way that our day-to-day maintenance and operations of our parks and our programs delivery is funded is through three main areas. The first one, the primary source of the funding for us to do all that we do in Parks and Rec is coming from our city tax dollars, the general fund, which is funded through sales tax. Remember that our city does not have a property tax specific to the city of AJ. So it's almost all of our funding is coming from sales tax money. We supplement the general fund to be able to fully pay for our programs and our operations through fees. So the majority is paid through general fund dollars, and then we do charge user fees for things that are maybe above and beyond what the average taxpayer is getting out of their tax money that goes into the city. And then, so fees are the second item, and then the third item is that we supplement all of that with grants, corporate partnership, and other, miscellaneous funds. So development fee funds is a good example. That all comes from new home and new commercial business builds that will go into that fee. So those are the three ways that we get our money to be able to operate our parks, maintain them, and to run the programs that we do. Commercial activity has never been allowed to this point. We have talked about it for several years of adding that. You guys gave a recommendation a couple of years ago that we wanted to be able to bring in commercial fees, have a fee structure that allowed for a business to come and rent the park and do an activity. City Council has been very vocally interested in that. Prior to having Flatiron Park, we really didn't have facilities where that would be allowed. We cannot do commercial activity technically on any of our BLM property, which is Rodeo Grounds, Prospector Park, Silly Mountain, and Multi-Use Trail. That's the majority of them. 2 of our facilities are on school property. It doesn't mean that we can't do commercial activity. It was just the philosophy at the time not to. When we brought on board Flatiron, there are a lot of opportunities where we could rent to other organizations and bring in other revenue to our city, so that way we could help to fund our parks and our programs and things like that. We did research at a point in time, almost every city has a for-profit fee for a park that is different than their nonprofit fee or their private resident fee. And so we'll be bringing that into the discussion that you guys will finalize. Again, we talked about that we were interested in that before, that we wanted to pass it on, and then we just kind of stalled because we weren't we hadn't done the market study, the new market study, or, we're kind of in a pause because of COVID at some point in time. So you'll be hearing about that again. We do believe that it is important to look at commercial fees. They'd pay a little bit more because they can afford a little more than a nonprofit. All of our fees currently are based on the nonprofit rate that our market cities utilize. So if they have a commercial rate right now, we always in the past would compare our fee to their nonprofit rate. And so we will continue to have the nonprofit rate, a private resident rate, and then if the commission and the council choose, we will have an additional for-profit amount of money that if a business wanted to rent the park and do commercial activity, they could on a limited basis. So I think that in a nutshell is kind of what our philosophy is. Do you have any questions on that before I get into, we're not going to go over this document in great detail. You should have this in your packet, and it should be on your screen. But do you have any questions just on why we're doing what we're doing or how we do it? Okay. So the city code, this document is the 2015 amended city code for Chapter 4. That is our fee schedule. The whole first section is facility and equipment rental fees, and so you can kind of go through that and look and see what we charge for our sports fields and our multi-gen center and all of those facilities. Judy, when you talked about the dog park, we do have a multi-use area fee that those dog park smaller sections are similar in size to some of our other multi-use areas. It's only $8 per hour. I would just say that when we look at those kinds of things, there'd be very limited times that other people could use it. But if we determine that there was a time frame that was underutilized by the public at the dog park, and somebody wanted to have a class or a training or something else, and they wanted to reserve it, that might be a thing that we could do. And so we'll talk about that in more detail, but just know that a multi-use, there might be a fee already there that we think is reasonable, or we might want to make our own fee because of the amenities that are there. All of our pool fees are in there, all of our multi-generational center. You'll notice that our entry fees for for daily fees into the pool, memberships to the pool, and then daily fees and memberships to the multi-gen center are included in this facility rental category because those are users that are coming to rent or to use a facility. Let's see here. I'll go on down to sports courts, veterans and special services. The stage is in here. This is one that I really would love for you just to give a little thought to. We will share with you when we come back next what the other cities that have a stage similar to us are charging. We have had very few people rent our stage since we got it. And our fees are pretty high. We put them that way purposely in the beginning. Our stage is $130,000. And in order to rent it out to somebody, we want to make sure that they are paying a fee that is respectful of the piece of equipment that they're using, that we were hopeful to be able to make a little bit of money from those rentals to help, pay for maintenance costs and other things that we need for it. I will be bringing you guys information on how often do we actually, is it 2 times in the last 4 years or 5 years? Has it been 5 times that we've rented it? What does that look like? Because we might want to change that. If our goal is to rent it more, we might want to reduce that fee. If our goal is to keep it in great condition or something and we don't want to do that, we might not change it. We might have a nonprofit fee and let that be our commercial fee. There's a lot of things that we can do, and I just want to use that as an example to you, just to be thinking about. Our stage limitations are listed here underneath it. We do require deposits of certain things, but those are kind of on a case-by-case basis, and that's just listed there. That had to be adopted into our code. Then the whole next section is program and activity fees. They're more of ranges because it just depends on what the activity is that we're doing, how many days of the week it is, what kind of other resources it needs. But you can kind of look to see, it's not very helpful to you to see a range. It's very helpful to us because our classes are so different, every single one we do, that I would recommend that if you have heard from people that either something is too expensive or not expensive enough, those are the things that you might want to just share with us. And while it might not change the code, it can certainly be things we think of as we are assigning fees to certain programs. Our refund policy is listed in there for those, for all of those different things. We also asked the last time we went to the commission and council to approve formally our promotional discounts, so that way we would have the authority to give reduction in fees for different things. And so we put what those look like here. Let's see. We do give free day passes to the Multi-Gen Center for lots of reasons, for promotional reasons. If somebody maybe had a bad experience and we want them to come back, those would be reasons we'd give somebody a free day pass. Sometimes we give it as prizes for a lot of our other programs. Other than that, we only have the power to give up to 50% off of a discount if we're going to run a promotional code. So during Veterans Day, we'll have a Veterans promotion that's running for the MGC. This just lets us be able to make those calls at the staff level up to 50% off the regular price. This next section is on priority use. And this is where we kind of get into when we assess fees and when we don't. So obviously, the majority of our parks, you could enjoy almost every amenity in our park free of charge. Our splash pad, the ramadas, the ball fields if it's just you and your family, all of our open space, our basketball courts. So much of what we offer is in a no-fee category. And we really feel that's part of people pay a base tax, they pay sales tax, and that is going towards the upkeep of those facilities. So historically, we have always had the no-fee category to help people to understand that that's what you're getting with basically your sales tax money, to be able to utilize those facilities. So that's what people that just want to use the park can do. In addition, it can be reserved out to these next groups at no fee. So all other city departments that obviously need to reserve a room, that makes sense. City council approved special events, which are considered annually during the budget process. So Lost Dutchman Marathon, Lost Dutchman Days, those ongoing events that were approved by city council. And then partner agencies with formal agreements. So for example, we have an intergovernmental agreement with the Apache Junction Unified School District. We use their facilities for free, and in exchange, they can use our facilities for free. We have a few facilities that both have that we can't use for free. They can't use our pool without paying for lifeguards. We can't use their performing arts center without paying for the technician that does the lighting and all of those kinds of things. And those are all spelled out in our intergovernmental agreement. And that's just one example. We have several different examples like that are either, trades and services, or there might be a reason. Superstition Fire and Medical District, they offer free trainings for our staff, and they get to have free use of certain areas in our facility, and those are all approved by council. So that's the no-fee category, general use of the park, and then these types of rentals are in the no-fee category.
Hey,
Yes.
Have we ever done anything like essential workers or some type of event for them?
Like an event, you mean like a promotional event?
Like
So during, we do a teacher appreciation during Teacher Appreciation Week. If there's a lot of different special holidays that we will do certain promotions for. I don't think we've ever done one for essential workers per se, but that would fall in, that would be more of a discount on a program.
okay.
So that would fall into the up to 50%, and it would probably be a promotion. Like anybody in this category could get a membership at 20% off or something like that. So I would say we've done things like that in the past. Just depends on the holiday or the reason, or there might be some special thing that council or our department was trying to promote.
Okay.
In the partial fee category for programs and rentals, groups that meet, so we created this last go around so that we'd have a little bit more of a formal policy. So local youth-serving agencies that meet this criteria, the criteria that are going to be listed, fall into our partial fee category for rentals. So like your Little League organization, some of those nonprofits. So they have to fit all of these categories to get this rate. So they have to be a 501c3. They have to be a youth-serving agency that is governed by a local unpaid volunteer board and have unpaid staff. They have to their participant members have to be a majority of City of AJ. So for example, we might have a club baseball team that they have a set up 501c3. Their coach has to be a volunteer, and they have to be ran by a volunteer group. But if their members don't all live in Apache Junction, they wouldn't be able to follow this. They wouldn't be able to get this fee. So we basically will look at their roster and their addresses, and if 50% or more qualified, then they meet that category. If they don't, and I'll explain that in a minute, if they don't meet one of these. And the last criteria is that the youth-serving agency participation is open to the public and not by invitation only. So it can't be limited by any means other than the natural makeup of the league. So that's another thing that might disqualify some club sports teams. If they only allow people that they've invited to be part of their team, it doesn't have open tryouts or everybody can participate. So I take it back. So they have cuts. If they have cuts, then they don't qualify. It can be limited by things like age or, whatever it's supposed to be out there, but that's it. We have some groups that don't fit all these 4 categories, so they might not get the discount, but we might do other things to help accommodate them. Like we might look at letting them have more than the 4 days. So in our facility use agreement, we only allow people to reserve 4 days at a time so that they're not monopolizing anything. We might work with one of these groups and let them have all those dates. For example, Boys and Girls Club. We will let them, if they want to have their league out at the park, they would pay the regular fee, but they could reserve all their dates out. Usually we do a trade-off with Boys and Girls Club. So if they need something and we want to partner on a program, we'll try to do it together. So that way they're not having to pay for fees. So there are other ways that we can work with nonprofits, such as partnering with them to offer a program. But ultimately, if we're going to give a discount, they have to fit all 4 of these criteria, and that was decided on. Commission helped to share that, but council was one of the big drivers for making a formalized process. And then the full fee category is, so basically, when it's not already reserved out and it's not being used by us, then we would make it available to other people for a fee. And the fee is because if a person wants to monopolize one area, then they're going to be paying a fee for that area. So for like a Ramada, for a reservation. Right now, our Ramada, if you have less than 25 people, you can use it first come, first serve, whenever you want to. But if you want to guarantee you're going to have it, even for less people, then you would want to reserve it. If you're going to have more than 25 people, then we see that as monopolizing an area of the park that isn't used by everybody else, and you would pay the small fee for that. We get a lot of requests from groups about, hey, we're just doing this fundraiser, and it would really be helpful if you could waive the fees. And when we sit down and show them what the fees actually are, and they realize that it's like $50 altogether, or, if you add up all the fees for like that open space, or what, it's $8 for that time frame, and sometimes only there for 2 hours. And so then they realize that it's really not that big of a fee. Like I said, though, we have worked with lots of groups on figuring out ways that we can partner. There's some groups that will partner on an event, or we'll let them use a facility in exchange for them doing something for us, doing something for free that we need, instructing a class, helping with security in an event, things like that. I just moved all the way up. Let's see here. And then we did ask for council to give us a formal okay to do priority reservations and registrations for Apache Junction residents. So at the time that we did this, we had considered resident and non-resident fees. But at the time, we chose not to do that. It is very difficult at times to kind of to know a resident or non-resident at our pool. We do have technology, though, that we didn't used to have that makes it a lot easier to do so. Almost every other city does do resident and non-resident fees, but it's definitely one that I would want you guys to think about and consider, and we will ask council to think about and consider and give us your thoughts. Some of the challenges with requiring a resident fee is that many of our programs wouldn't even go if only Apache Junction residents either were signed up or encouraged to sign up. We need the people in Gold Canyon and in our county islands to sign up for things so that we have, so some programs need 5 people for the instructor to teach it. If we didn't open up to other people, it'd be really tough. I'm not suggesting we don't do resident or non-resident fees. I'm just saying those are some of the reasons why we didn't in the past. And I would love for you guys to think about it and think about how that affects you and the people that you interact with, and look and see what other cities are doing. We will be sharing with you that data, who has residency fees and who doesn't, so that you can see that and see what the difference in the price is and whether that would matter. And we'll be discussing that when we bring back the data to you guys.
Liz,
Yes.
would that be like a blanket, like if you have residents, non-residents, it affects everything or just certain?
Not necessarily. We could do it. So that's why we kind of chose this thing. We picked the things that are the toughest for everybody, the things that are most popular. So swim lessons, for example. They're really hard to get in, and they fill up really fast. We don't want people outside of the city of Apache Junction to take up all the spots prior to AJ residents. However, we want the class to go. So we open up the slots earlier to AJ residents. They get the first, chance to get them, and then it's opened up to everybody else. Some of our reservations, so we don't open up pool rentals to the outside of Apache Junction until a later date from residents or businesses that are within, I shouldn't say businesses, nonprofit agencies that are within city limits. Easter is a date that usually our ramadas are super booked at the parks and they're hard to get. That's another date that we would typically open up to residents first, and then like the week of Easter, it would be opened up to everybody else to be able to utilize. So I only share that as that those are some very specific things that we chose to do. The policy allowed us to kind of pick and choose the things that we thought were most important. You guys could say that we want to do resident fees for these types of programs that we know go, or the MGC, or whatever it is. But we'll bring you back some more data so that you guys can help to make that. So no, it doesn't have to be blanket. Some cities do a set blanket amount, like it might be 10% more, 20% more, but they might have certain programs that have residency fees and some that don't. Any other questions in general? Yes.
When you mentioned Easter, that reminded me, was the Easter egg hunt on this last year, or with COVID it was canceled?
It was canceled and we did a
Virtual?
Yeah, we did the Easter egg hunt with all the businesses. And then we did Easter bags.
And camping under the stars.
Well, it's really not part of this agenda, Commissioner Standage.
Well, I'm just trying to understand on this, because in the past, I've had friends who live in like Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert.
So let's ask that in how it's related to this then. So you're really asking the sleepover right now, anybody could sign up for the sleepover.
Okay, yeah.
Right now, we don't have resident or non-resident fees.
Okay.
But it also doesn't fill up, and there's not a wait list for it right now. There used to be a long time ago, but, so right now, everybody pays the same fee to sign up for the sleepover.
Okay.
But we could have resident and non-resident fees, or you could have a early registration for AJ residents and a later registration for non-residents.
Okay.
Okay?
Sorry to get you off.
No worries. You were actually on track. We just had to reword it. Yes.
As on this fee schedule, I didn't see anything about the pool rental.
Go up to, I went so fast, it was hard to see.
You went past it.
I did.
Read through it on my own.
So it's number 7. What page is that? Can you guys see? Oh, there's no pages on this.
Number 6?
Oh, number 6, sorry, yes. And 5.
Okay,
So,
didn't see it in there.
yeah, so entry passes, entry fees, and then the rental of the swimming pool. But one good thing I want to point out, though, that things like so anything that's a program, though, that we operate with staff and everything, those are down in the program fees, and those are listed also.
Yeah, I didn't see that it was on the
Okay.
back. Sorry, thank you.
What else? Anything
Any
else?
other questions?
No questions.
Okay.
Okay.
So next steps are, we share this, and we just share the general philosophy with our council, hopefully early February, and they give us the okay to move forward, regardless of what, we'll be trying to gauge what they want us to be looking at. Next meeting, though, I will be sharing with you data. No matter what, it's important for you guys to know all that information, and we do want to keep moving. I also want to mention, we are likely not going to change fees for this. We don't like to change fees in the middle of something. It might be after the summer season is over that it would change. The decisions that we make right now will not be affecting this summer. And I think that's a really good thing because we are in such an uncertain COVID time right now. We can make our fees be effective anytime we want. We can decide that it's for January 1, 2022, if that's what we choose to do. So just keep those things in mind. I definitely want you guys, we want your input on this. So we wanted to give you a little background so you can be thinking about it, and that you have the fees now to kind of see what you think, oh, that looks really high or that looks really low, kind of thing. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liz. Okay, our next item is, on number 8, is 2686, which is election of Parks and Rec Commissioner, Chairman, and Vice-Chairperson. Excuse me, I said that wrong. Chairman and
Chair.
Chair.
And
Or
Commissioner
chair.
Standage, if I can just explain to the
Yes.
group. So it is a little different than last time. Our city attorney did share with us kind of the preferred method. We've done better every year we've done it, but there's one little extra thing that's in it this time that we didn't do last time. We are asked to, the chair will actually will do a request for a motion to open the nominations. And that is just to say, we want to open up the nominations for chair. Is it chair that we do first?
Yeah.
Mary? So he would just be asking for a motion just to open them. That's not the motion to get nominations. That's just for us to begin the discussion. And then somebody will do the regular motion in the second, and you'll vote. And then it will be, he's going to be asking for the nominations. And just keep in mind that after you guys have shared your nomination ideas, he has to ask 3 additional times if there's any other. And so it's a little redundant, but he'll go through that. We'll help each other out as we go.
We all have a copy of it.
Yes, very good. Okay, so, and then I think they also have to close it. Oh, then you have to have a motion to vote on the nominations.
To have a motion to close the nomination.
Thank you.
And then we
Yeah,
get
that's
to
at the
go
bottom
in
of the
and
first
do the
page.
nomination to elect the
So just
officer.
follow along, and we'll do the best we can, but I wanted to share that that's a little different than last time.
Okay. Thank you, Liz. Okay, as chairperson currently of the commission,
I'm
I call
sorry.
for a motion.
Chairman Standage,
I just wanted, I like the background.
We got to make sure that Frank's still here.
Oh, Frank, are you there?
We've lost Frank to this.
Oh,
Frank went to get a snack at the refrigerator.
isn't there a class for guitar here? No.
Feeling it though. Got a good vibe. Oh my gosh, now it's time for the microphone.
There you go,
Yeah.
come on.
here he comes. Frank, are you there?
Whoa, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. We're getting ready to start our elections
Okay.
item. Okay.
Okay, we're ready to go on that? I'd like to make a motion to open the nominations for chairperson. Oh, well, open the nominations for
Hold on.
both items. Yeah.
Is it a Zoom call?
No, it's
Okay, I'm back on.
You're back on?
Getting back.
Okay. I would like to ask for a motion to open the nominations for chairperson.
Make a motion to open the nomination for chairperson.
Okay, I need a second for that motion.
I will second the motion.
Okay. Okay, Mary, we need a roll call vote on that?
Frank Schoenbeck,
Yes.
Wayne Standich,
Yes.
Dee Kine. Yes. Walker Waldy,
Yes.
Judy Bory,
Yes.
Heather Moeller,
Yes.
Luciano Buzen.
Yes.
All in favor? We have
a
all in
total
favor.
vote.
Mhm.
Okay. I'd like to call now for nominations for chairperson for this committee.
So we can nominate you?
Yes, one of you
Okay,
guys
yeah,
can.
yeah, I would love Wayne
I would
Standage.
like to nominate
I
myself.
nominate Wayne Estrada for chair.
Okay. Luciano made the nomination, right, Mary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, would anyone else like to make a nomination for Parks and Recreation Commission chairperson?
I'd like to make a motion for Mr., oh gosh, Shane Beck.
Okay. Second deal, would anyone else like to make a nomination for Parks and Recreation Commission chairperson? No others? Okay, this will be the last call for nomination of Parks and Recreation Commission chairperson for 2021. Do we have any other nominations?
I make a motion to close the nominations.
To close the nomination?
Yes.
We'll get to that in just a minute.
We're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
We're
Okay.
almost there.
We have no more nominations for Parks and Recreation chairperson. Frank, you okay?
I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I request a motion to close nominations for chairperson.
I make a motion to close the nomination for chairperson.
There we go, Luciano. Thank you. I need a second for the motion. Okay, thank you. Could we have a roll call vote to close the nominations?
We sure can. Luciano Buzen,
Yes.
Frank Schoenbeck,
Yes.
Wayne Standich,
Yes.
Dee Kine. Yes. Walker Waldy,
Yes.
Judy Bory,
Yes.
Heather Moeller.
Yes.
All in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Now, okay, I request a motion to approve first nominee to chairperson. Do I have a motion?
I motion.
Yeah, I need a motion so we can nominate, in this case, it's me, and then we have to do it again for Frank. This is the voting.
Okay, then I motion to do the first nomination.
Okay.
Is that the right verbiage? Okay, good, thanks.
Do I have a second to that
Very
motion?
good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, Mary, could you do a roll call vote for the first person, for the chairperson?
Dee Kine. Yes. Walker Waldy,
Yes.
Judy Bory,
No.
Heather Moeller,
Yes.
Luciano Buzen,
Yes.
Frank Standich. Oh,
Shine-
Standich
Schoenbeck.
Schoenbeck. Frank Schoenbeck.
Hey, we both have an
I got
S.
both of you. You're all
Yeah.
both winners.
Is that like poliosis?
Frank Schoenbeck.
Yes, as much as I appreciate the nomination, I'll vote for Wayne.
Thank you. Wayne Standich?
Yes.
Okay, Wayne Standich is our chairman.
Okay. Now, at this point, we close the, I want a motion to close the chairperson vote, and then we'll go to the vice chair.
I make a motion to close the chairperson nomination.
It doesn't have that on here, Mary.
I don't think we closed the vote for this one.
We don't.
Uh-uh.
It was just that one person.
We're done.
Okay, now,
You only have to close the nominations, not the vote.
okay, we didn't close the nominations, my mistake. Okay,
Okay.
I call for a motion to open the nominations for vice chairperson.
I moved
I so move.
for chairperson, or vice chairperson, sorry.
And did you, okay, hold on a second, Frank. I call for a second to the motion for nominations for vice chairperson.
Second.
Okay. Mary, could you do a roll call now, please?
Frank Schoenbeck,
Yes.
Wayne Standage,
Yes.
Dee Kine. Yes. Walker Waldy,
Yes.
Judy Bory,
Yes.
Heather Moeller,
Yes.
Luciana Busen.
Yes.
Everybody's in favor.
Okay. Now, I'd like to call for a nomination for vice chairperson.
Chairman, I would like to nominate Judy Bory for vice chairperson.
Okay, that's the first one. Yeah, we don't have to have a second on this. Okay, chairperson, I'm calling for any other nomination?
And
For-
I was going to nominate Mr. Walker.
Oh, we got a battle of wills here. Okay. And you're up to date on that one right now, Mary?
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone else like to make a nomination for Parks and Recreation Commission Vice Chairperson for 2021?
Heather Muller.
Huh?
Heather Muller.
Heather Muller?
Moeller?
Muller?
Yeah.
I'm sorry there.
Muller.
Okay, 2. Okay, we got Judy Bory, we have Heather. Last call for nomination of Parks and Recreation Commission Vice Chairperson of 2021. Any other nominations? No more. Okay. I need a motion to close nominations for Vice Chairperson, please.
I make a motion to close the nomination for chairperson.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. I need a roll call vote, Mary?
You okay? Luciana Busen,
Yes.
Frank Schoenbeck,
Yes.
Wayne Standage,
Yes.
Dee Kine. Yes. Walker Waldy,
Yes.
Judy Bory,
Yes.
and Heather Moeller.
Yes.
Everybody's in
Okay.
favor of closing the nominations.
Oh, here's where I went to. I was going, where was my other page? Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. Okay. Chair requests motion to approve first nominee to vice chairperson.
Judy Bory.
Yeah, but I need a motion to approve first nominee.
I move to approve Judy Bory, Judy Bory as vice chairperson. We're all butchering names
I
tonight.
know.
That's good.
Yes.
We should hang out more.
Bad.
Okay. Okay, we had a motion. I need a second for that motion, please. I'll second the motion. Okay, thank you. Next, we need, hold on. We need a roll call, Mary?
Mm-hmm. Dee Kine. Yes. Mark Walde,
Yes.
Judy Boy, you gonna vote for yourself?
No.
Oh, come on. Heather Mueller, you can.
No.
Luciana Boozin,
No.
Frank Shaneback,
Yes.
Wayne Standage.
Yes.
She has the majority vote, so she's the new vice chairman, 4-3.
Gotcha.
Next time.
Next time.
Right
Oh, buddy. I think we got a battle going on here. All right.
Everybody?
Okay. And
Thank you.
that takes care of that, doesn't it, Mary?
Yeah, that takes care of
I'm
nominating.
going down the list of stuff. Okay, so for for this year, 2021, Wayne Standage will be the chairperson and Judy Bory will be vice chairperson
Correct.
against her will. Okay, that takes care of that. Number 9 on our agenda is call to the public. I don't
have any.
see any public.
They're lively tonight.
They are. Well, you know, there's that dark-haired woman on the first row. Okay, so we'll pass over that. Do we have requests for future agenda items? Other than what we have, that'll be perpetual. Right, Liz? Yeah. Other than the perpetual, I'm asking if for any other future agenda.
State land is still,
Frank, excuse me, Liz, what did you say?
I was just saying state land, I have on my, we just don't have anything new. As soon as
State land and the
Larry
fee
can
study.
bring something, that'll be on a future agenda still.
Okay.
Okay.
Frank, you there?
I'm good, thank you, Wayne. I don't have anything for the agenda.
You don't have anything to add? Okay,
thank you.
so we'll then proceed to the last item, which is adjournment at 6:59.
Wow.
Thank you all for putting up with me.
That's